So we've talked about the switch fuse and how it can be used to move the center of lift and the front wing further forward, or move the center of lift further back. In position A, the center of lift and the wing is furthest back. In position B, it's in the middle, and if you switch the fuse around, spin it around, then you get that center of lift even further forward and the front wing moves even further forward. In wind foiling, balance is key. You don't want all your weight on your front foot, you don't want all your weight on your back foot, you want this happy medium. It's really nice to buy a board and a foil from the same manufacturer. That way it's totally plug and play. You put them together, you know it's a balanced, dialed setup, and you can just work on your skills. If you've got it put together, there are a couple small tweaks you can do with the foot straps and the universal to balance things out. If I feel like I'm constantly driving too much weight on my front foot to keep the whole foil in the water, I can move my universal forward in the mast track. If I feel like I'm constantly pushing too much pressure on my back foot, I can move that universal further back in the mast track. With our windfoil setups at Slingshot, 107 centimeters from the front fin bolt to the center of your universal is a great place to start, but there's always a little leeway here and there depending on what kind of sail you're using, your stance, so you may need to adjust this universal in the mast track to help you compensate. If I move my universal too far forward in the mast track, if I go really far forward, I'll notice that the board is actually foiling with the nose pointing down a bit. This means you've moved that universal too far forward in that mast base, or in that mast track. So you're gonna have to bring it back a little bit to flatten the board out. With the foot straps, it's the same thing. If I'm putting way too much pressure on my front foot, constantly trying to keep that nose down, that board in the water, I can move my foot straps forward on the board. If I feel like I'm constantly driving all my weight on my back foot just to keep the foil and the board in the air, then I can move my foot straps further back. So there is small little balancing tweaks you can do with the foot straps or the placement of your universal and mast track to fully dial in your setup.